Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we are back to Hearthstone. Let me unmute it. There we go. Uh, so, I've gotten into a rut. We got it real quickly. We need a victory with a druid or a rogue, a mage or shaman, and a victory with a paladin or warrior. It took me quite a long time to even get up to that point. Let's start with shaman since we're sitting here. Hop into the game. Victories, victories, victories. That's what we need. This issue in particular in time management keeps coming up over and over again. There is literally no other game I've had to play, be an operative word, that
I will fight with honor.
And I really don't have to play this, but not really. I can always stop recording Hearthstones whenever I felt like it. I'm not obliged to make any more. But there's never been a game I've played that can so consistently and frequently cause issues where things just don't get done in a timely manner. When I go to play, you don't know Jack, even though I find it boring and it's hard to get the motivation to play it, it doesn't ever get to the... There's no way you couldn't get through the game. You either answer the questions right or you answer the questions wrong, and that's it, as far as the game is concerned.
We're using real swords.
Dead Island is kind of boring at this point, and it's going on too long. Yes, but I'm making progress there, and I probably in a couple of days will have the game done.
We're using real swords.
Salmon Max, in a sense, might get to the level here, but the thing about any point-and-click adventure is I can always go look up the answer as long as it's not a new game that doesn't have an answer. So, I can only get so stuck in that game as much as I can only get so stuck in any other game. Let's go ahead and try this. That's what I was hoping for. And then, should I bother? No,
We're
I guess
using
not.
real swords.
In the turn there. So it's really only Hearthstone that when I go to record Hearthstone, and I would like it to be done in, well, 3 45-minute episodes, that would be an hour and a half, 2 hours and 15 minutes. But instead of it consistently taking 2 hours and 15 minutes to record 2 hours and 15 minutes of footage, it is taking me, on average, I would guess,
I'll be a real knight.
3 hours, sometimes 4 hours. Average is probably the wrong phrase. I don't have a clue what the average time it's taking me is, but when I get into these ruts, it certainly feels like it's taking me 3 hours, 4 hours. I've just been sitting here trying to play the game. Maybe I'll get a little bit lucky and
We're using
see
real
if anything
swords.
else works. You just can't get wins in this game is the problem. Playing against other people. Wait a minute. Let's test this. If I lose this game here on Shaman, I'm gonna go play Shaman on practice mode and see if that gets the quest done. Because that may be the solution here. I may just be failing to mentally realize that there is a solution in this. And if this does turn out to be the solution to my problem, that is excellent. Excellent. Now, I don't particularly want to play on practice mode. That would be annoying. But it might be the solution that we have to take.
Elements I like, totems I love.
There we go.
Tusk!
yeah, if I can get the practice to work, that really would help. So in the meantime of this, I've listened to like 3 podcasts at least. So yeah, that's probably 3 hours. I watched the first episode of Master of None on Netflix, which I don't know if it's really my style.
I am ready.
It's got the same actor from that Silicon Valley TV show, and I never watched that too. The first episode's about irresponsible character thinking about having kids and eventually realizing that he doesn't want it. It felt kind of like Louis, and I don't even know if I can honestly say I'm a super fan of Louis.
Enjoy raiding.
Here we go. Let's see, what do we want to do here? Let's see if this is an explosive trap or something. No. No explosive trap there. Adjacent minions have +1.
Tusk!
I'm just gonna kill this guy. And redemption brings it back. Darn it.
Totally.
So now I'm a little excited to see here if I actually do lose, if I can play on practice. That would solve so much of this. My other thought that I was going to come in here with, and we'll just discuss it even though it's not as good as the practice thought, was that I was just going to, whenever I had free time, I would come play some Hearthstone and get the quests close to being done even before we start the recording session. So if it needs 3 victories, I would try and play it all the way till it only needed 1 victory. Then I'd have 3 episodes potentially in which I only needed to get 1 victory. Which is kind of where I need to be. I would really love somebody to put in the comments like clear, concise explanations on what I'm doing wrong with Hearthstone, if I am doing something wrong with Hearthstone. What I'm not seeing. Because it's just this big hazy fog of randomness, it feels like. It doesn't feel like any single action would increase my standing or help me at all. Here we go.
Job's done.
So with a full board, I could probably play Bloodlust and do a significant amount of damage next turn.
Prepare yourselves for the ultimate test.
Interesting. Change all enemy minions attack to 1. Actually, that might have helped a couple of these. This one I won't play. This one I'll play. Great victory. I got lucky there. We're up to level 40. There's 60 down. Now we have 2 more we need to do. So we'll do Druid and Rogue, and then we'll worry about Warrior later. Let's try Druid here. Yeah, nothing else has happened in the meantime. I mean, how could it? It's only been a couple hours between the last recording and this recording. Well, in one of the podcasts there was an interesting thought, and I'm not sure I'm willing to say this definitively. But
Malfurion versus
I
Anduin.
did a couple
light
months
shall
ago,
bring
maybe,
victory.
I
or
must
most, a
protect
couple
the
months ago,
wild.
cover the game Antichamber. And I just a couple of days ago finished the game The Witness. And I hadn't thought of those two games as being any having any similarity at all. I hadn't had a thought where those two games came up at all to even consider it. But when you start to think about it,
Job's done.
there's definitely a lot more story, or at least a lot
Is
less
someone injured?
presumptuousness in Antichamber than there is in The Witness. They both kind of do the same thing, is that both games are allegedly, I have to even say allegedly here, have stories and have little bits that are supposed to be motivational posters or speeches, and they're supposed to be about how you should live your life. And while I found every single audio recording that was like that in The Witness to be ridiculous garbage, just nonsense, I didn't really have a problem with any of the things in the Antichamber. Not a bit. I think part of that, a big part of that, is just a simple fact that in Antichamber it was a little picture, it had a cute little cartoon, and it was a single sentence. Versus Witness was, we're gonna quote Albert Einstein, we're gonna quote someone else, we're gonna quote this, like, and there are these long things. And maybe that means I'm simple-minded. I don't know. I suppose that argument could be thrown that way, but I wouldn't really buy that, because I consider myself to be somewhat contemplative. I wouldn't really be considering myself a video game critic if I couldn't put down my thought at least somewhat well as far as video games. So I think Antichamber gets the point on the life lessons. I think Antichamber gets the point on having more varied and more unique puzzles by far. I think Antichamber gets the point for the number of interactable elements. I will give Witness the point for looking better. I will give Witness the point for having a cute trick in it that doubles the number of puzzles, where in Antichamber you kind of don't have a cute trick. They both similarly have a trick in the map. The only difference is that the map solution, see, deal 3 damage or deal 1, +4/+4 haunt. Let's play this first.
It has to be snake.
The difference between Antichamber
Hand
and
is too full.
The Witness, though, is that the important map to use in The Witness is not the one on the boat. It's, spoiler alert coming here, it is the pond in the middle of the island. And so once you figure out how to decipher the pond, you can know where every collectibles are, almost all of them, at least. Similarly, in Antichamber, once you figure out that map and the squares, which should have been easier, but I did have some trouble trying to figure it out. Let's deal 1 damage and draw a card here.
Guide my lance.
For the wild.
So, I think by having the ability to hit escape, go back to the main map, showing the map straight to your face, Antichamber wins there, because I don't feel like a map element in a game should be a puzzle in itself, ever. I don't think anything that is, at the end of the day, going to be an assistive tool should be hidden behind a puzzle that requires you to learn how to read it. Now, I guess that is also a complaint about I mean, not Uru, but Riven, because Riven's, the only way to even solve that puzzle is to learn their alphabet,
How many fingers do
and
you
that
see?
is hidden behind the puzzle. But then I would hold that against Riven, because I think the final puzzle in Riven is too complicated and too difficult. As the Witness has had more time to be out, more and more people have proven to say they don't like it. +4 health and taunt, I guess.
For a loon.
So now there really isn't any story that's any different than in Antechamber than there is in The Witness. So I think they're both equal, kind of there. The final puzzle in Antechamber has kind of a more guided movement to it than what the final puzzle really is on, well, to get to the first ending of the Witness. I would compare the specific challenge in The Witness that only 1% of the players are supposed to get. I think that would be comparative closer to trying to speedrun Antechamber than any specific puzzle in Antechamber. Jonathan Blow did an AMA, but I looked at some of his responses, and it's the most non-satisfactory responses ever. It's like, oh, I haven't been watching other people listening to the critics, or I haven't been watching other people play it, so I don't even know if you found all the solutions to the puzzle. Like, so really, you don't know anything of any importance. All you're really here to do is to answer questions on the most bare-bone issues, like what was it like making the game, or how did you think up this, or how did you think up that, instead of anything. Oh, I should have attacked the face there. Anything useful. So after a couple of responses, I was like, yep, he's not gonna say anything. I'm not sure he's ever gonna say anything. When you listen to the audio logs of The Witness and you see how obtuse that is, and it's just like, it feels like it has this attitude of either you get it or you don't. I don't think anybody who would make a game that's like that would probably ever come back and say either what has been done. So kind of unsatisfactory again. I'll probably for the rest of my life just be left wondering until somebody really does hack the whole thing apart and tell me all the pieces I missed. I just want to know what I missed. I don't even want to go back and try and get it. But I know I missed one puzzle. I'm pretty sure I know what it is. There's probably several, like, there are some secret Easter egg things that I suspect are as much part of the experience too. So if you don't go and see the secret Easter eggs, for example, the woman in the perception house, and you look through the window, those two are probably, in Jonathan Blow's mind, puzzles that just don't get counted. There's a question about the statue in the pond. It seems to be something about time, but it slowly changes for one reason or another. There's like one place in the sun section where you can lower the water, and then there's let's see. In the marsh you lower the water too. I kind of wonder if it could be something as simple as that if you ran around to all the places where you could lower water and then raise the water, if the statue wouldn't get raised up because you're actually draining the pond. And then there's the subtitles thing that looks like there's a code, but as far as I can see, there isn't. And I've heard, after looking at the witness read, that nobody's even mentioned it. So they apparently people haven't even recognized it, which makes no sense at all. It really would make no sense that nobody is seeing what I'm seeing, unless what I'm seeing in my gameplay was totally different than what everybody else was seeing in their gameplays, which that would be a nightmare. That would be a total nightmare if there was like 6 versions of the game and it took 6 people to play it and compare notes. Somebody on one of the podcasts was talking about that, where they would release 6 versions of a game so that everybody on the internet would argue about how the game ended. Kind of like Mass Effect. It was in reference to Mass Effect. They said, yeah, it would have been really funny if there were 30 different endings that were really, really different, and then have big groups of internet people arguing. But it's not too hard to fix that. All you have to do is have one person, whether they're telling the truth or not, to say, I can confirm there are multiple versions of this game, so let's collect them all together. I'm gonna lose here. So, but in general, it is an interesting thought that Antichamber, on the points I've just mentioned, probably is a better game. And it has its black and white aesthetic. If the puzzles of Antichamber had been integrated into the Witness, by far, it would be a well better. It would win on almost every aspect. No, not difficult at all. I really feel like Jonathan Blow must have kicked himself for the 7 years. I've been saying 12, and maybe it really was 12 that he was working on the game. I mean, he specifically said that Braid was his preparation to the Witness.
I will fight with honor.
Watch your...
And the Witness will probably be his preparation to some other game, I would suspect. Let's be real here. Maybe the third time will be the third time will be the charm for him. Seriously, he needs to just have a director there. It's like, I don't know how I can I'm gonna fail here miserably at trying to make an example, but it's like he was an artist that could paint.
Job's done.
And he decided to open a museum. And he filled the museum with his paintings. But then he added a wing for sculptures, and he added a wing for the symphony to play, and he added a wing for modern art presentations and performances. And all those things got added to on top of the
I wonder.
Hope this works. Darn it. Oh well.
Job's done. Get down!
So, anyways, my point there is Jonathan Blow can make puzzles. He has proven he can take gameplay mechanics and he can put them in games.
Met.
Whether it's line puzzles or whether it's braid puzzles, either way, he has that ability. What he doesn't seem to really have the ability for, though, got it, is to put any story to those puzzles. I think you probably hired artists. When you look at the art style of The Witness versus Braid, it seems like those are different people there. That's voxels versus a 2D platformer animation. And so he went halfway with The Witness. He hired architects, he hired artists, I know he hired artists, come to think of it, because that was the other guy that was responding to questions at the AMA. But apparently he just didn't hire a story writer. And the only reason I could think you wouldn't hire a story writer is because you don't care about the story. Which means, inherently, to work with Jonathan Blow, he needs to not be the person in charge.
My shield for Argus.
Because what he wants in a video game is, some of that is okay, some of it isn't. He's the new Peter Molyneux, it feels like. Where somebody who might be very useful and helpful to be in your game company. But, oh man, I messed that up. That was a mistake.
What you got there?
But should not be the person in charge.
Here we go.
Well, do I want to kill these two guys just to kill this one? I don't think I do. I will say applauds goes to Jonathan Blow, since I'm still talking about his game. I'd like to play Rise of the Tomb Raider. I wish. That's kind of always going to be the problem, isn't it? It's going to be like, well, I only had so much budget to play one game, and whichever one I don't play is the one I'm going to probably wish I had played instead. Unless it comes back and it's not like, if they had said that Rise of the Tomb Raider was total garbage and not worth playing, I wouldn't have felt that way. But for example, game just came out, Unraveled, or Unravel. I don't even know if there's an ED on it or not. It seemed like it was going to be a slightly interesting game, but it seemed to have a lot of problems, and because it had a lot of problems, now I have like no real interest in playing it, which is kind of sad, because I had hoped that Unraveled, I'll just keep calling it Unraveled, was going to be something more along the lines of Yoshi's Woolly World. So something close to a Nintendo game, something kid-like that I could play that might be interesting. And it seems like thematically, no, it's not actually for kids. Difficulty-wise, it's not for kids. Overall, it's not. A kid could probably watch all the footage of the game, it sounds like, but they wouldn't enjoy it. We are, as always, starved for entertainment for kids. Let's see, can I play this guy?
The victory is yours.
He gives up, good. That's another one down. At 30 minutes we might get this done. But we've got to do this experiment here. Warrior, practice. Solo adventures, practice, normal. Have I ever beaten these guys on expert? We will play as the warrior. And I guess I have beaten them all on expert. But let's not even do that. We'll just play normal as the warrior against... Who would the warrior be good against? The mage, I guess. So there's like no reason whatsoever I shouldn't be able to win at this.
You asked for it.
And if this counts towards our quests, I think this might be our new accelerated process for a lot of things. Of course, we'll still have to play ranked mode. In fact, we may very well end up playing ranked mode twice as often with the wild and standard stuff going on, because as far as I can figure, they've really messed up everybody over that. They've really made it so that if you want to maintain even rank 20 on standard and wild, you're going to have to play twice as much ranked play as I was doing. And even if you are rank 1 legendary for a second, just to think about that. Say you were the best player in the world of Hearthstone. The second that they turn on the standard wild division, let's just go ahead and assume that they're not going to reset everybody back down to the base. Which it wouldn't surprise me if they did that too. It really wouldn't surprise me. But let's just assume that you get to keep your ranks when they go from how it is now to standard and wild. The second it comes about, you've got a wild that you'd be at rank 24 for, and you've got a standard that you're going to be at rank 1 when it ends over the month, so you'll go back down to rank probably 2 or 3. So all the effort you've been putting in previous months just to get back to being legendary rank 1, you have to do all of that again. And on top of that, now you have to get from all the way to rank 24 to rank legendary 1. It's a ridiculous amount of playthrough for either one. You immediately have to choose if you don't want to spend twice as much effort. You either abandon your standard rank, assuming it doesn't get thrown out the window. If it gets thrown out the window and you're the best player in the world, guess what? Now you've got to play both of them, or at least one of them, way more. Yeah, this doesn't look like it's gonna be too difficult to win here. Playing against the innkeeper. The question is this game going to count, or are we just spitting in the wind? We'll find out in like one more turn. Why can't all games be like this? Seriously, why not all games? Here we go.
Back to work.
Does this count? It gets you level up. But that didn't feel like that counted. Let's go warrior on single player. Yep. Doesn't feel like quests work in single player. Maybe if you wanted to level up and get your level to the maximum, you'd play in solo player, but sadly this isn't a solution. Unless I lose here and it gives me the victory because the game is messed up again, which I haven't seen it mess up today. We're at 6,900 gold, so in theory I could buy 70 packs, or 69 packs really, when the new expansion comes out. That's good to know. Maybe it would be a better idea to hold on than 5,000, but I don't think there really is a reason to do that. So, that is a shame. That really opens the door back to me whenever I have free time just playing. Just every quest potentially being close to being done. And that doesn't really work great. It's not a real good solution. Because if that is how it's gonna be, there will be times when I mess up and get quests done. There will be times when we have a recording session set to do and it's gonna take one episode. There's just no way to keep this thing balanced. This is a bus out of control. This is not something I can save. Now, theoretically, when the dialysis stuff, if it ever gets to that point, I guess I could potentially record this. But because of the way Hearthstone deck tracker is set up and all of that, if I do try to record anything along these lines, I'm gonna have to have internet. I'll be recording on my laptop, so the quality will probably be a little less. I would have to transfer the Hearthstone deck tracker on there. I would practically never play Hearthstone on my main computer again. It would just be too much work to do that. In fact, the whole setup may just change because I may just use my backup controller, use my backup headset, which sounds different. That may be true for You Don't Know Jack also. I don't know, until I figure that out though, I just have no clue when I'm even gonna figure it out. It's a big question right now.
Ready to flee.
Alright. So this guy will do 2 damage, which is kind of a shame. I'd prefer to do 5 damage right on this. Well. Let's see if this works.
Wanna blow something up?
Darn it.
Job's done.
Just gonna end my turn there. This guy doesn't seem like he's playing very good, but that's fine by me. Let's see. How do we want to do this?
Back to work.
Like this. And then let's go ahead and attack here. Let's play this and hope we hit this guy. Killed my own guy, but that's fine. In the turn. Feels like we're getting close to a concession. It looks like that's where it's going.
I wonder.
By the power of Ragnaros, I have the power!
Let's see. I could kill this guy easily.
No problem.
Let's go ahead and do that. Put that there. Attack. Attack. In the turn. This one will do 2 damage, so even if I got him down to 1 and then he killed this guy, I could play this guy next turn and he'd probably win. Yeah, I wanted to play Dead Island today. And here it's 5:13. Haven't even started. I'm noticing as I'm still experimenting with sitting up in the chair, I probably sound a lot better with posture, but it does kill my buttocks. Honestly, it just is a big old pain in the rump to sit after a couple hours. Let's go ahead and take this guy out. Take this guy out. In the turn. So, yeah, I'll go a couple hours with playing the game, and then I just can't take it anymore. I should put a pillow down, sit on something on top of it. It's just a standard office chair, and it's got probably 2 inches of foam on it, but I am a big old guy. What can I say?
We do.
Take this guy. Get rid of this guy. End the turn. So that's probably going to be it for them. Unless I can kill 2 guys right now. If he has the ability to do 2 damage to 2 enemies, if he could play that.
What we do.
The gates are open.
Interesting. Interesting maneuver. Let's see how this is gonna work. This guy's gonna die. So I could probably kill this guy, and then kill this guy.
To my side.
I mean, he's pulling all the stops out. If he does a Reno Jackson, I'm gonna be severely upset. I mean, I can see him winning. I can see him winning. It doesn't take that much.
What we do.
Well played.
So we do this, and then we attack here.
Behold the might of Stormwind!
Yeah, what can he do? Like kill himself. There we go. So, despite all that struggle, we get the victory now. I've managed to turn things around. We got all 3 quests done in the 45 minutes that I wanted to get it done. The only difference is that there was an extra 3 hours in between. Hearthstone, 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 you're killing me. You are literally killing me. Taking way too much of my time that I don't want it to be taken up. I want to just kind of check all of these. Remember, go into Nexramus, get that first wing, and if you want any Goblins vs. Gnomes cards, now would be the time to get them. I think what I'm gonna do is gonna be different. If you want to get the first wing with gold, by the way, you click on here, you click on normal, and it will say the first wing I believe is free, and then buy the second wing right here. You click that to buy the gold. Get at least the first wing. Probably would be a decent idea just to get them all. And keep in mind they may just eventually get rid of him completely, even if you have the cards. It wouldn't surprise me if in another couple of years they start saying we're just gonna turn these to dust and you can't use them at all. Anywho, that's gonna be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment if you want to, and watch every second of my videos. All that helps me out. If you want to support me, you can click on my name, Rydo. On the right will be a blue button that says support this channel. Click it, make a donation. And if you want to friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.